Okay guys, day 3. This is Jeff Gamble. I'm actually coming to you from Carmel, Indiana, and we're going through our growth plan and just a couple things to know today. And this is actually one of the most important parts. It's just going to kind of detail out really the 8 steps that we need to walk through. And then also, I got some really cool information to share with you. And really what I want to do right off the bat is really detail out these 8 steps. We're going to see which marker works. I went ahead and brought 3 of them. Just for making sure when you do a video, you got to make sure. Number 1 thing is you want to be able to go over this list. You know, the achievement system is really doing a couple things and getting them right, and it has to start out with certain things. So what we're going to start out with is really a list of things that you want, things that you dream, things that you desire. A lot of people just wish and hope for things, but what we're going to do is we actually have a process to be able to get those things written down. So that's number 1, is we'll just say that, dreams. Number 2 is core values. These are really rules to live by, because what you'll find is a lot of people write down their dreams, but they don't write down their values. And what ends up happening is one, you know, the dreams come out like this, and all of a sudden we're trying to match things up, and right here, these 2 don't match, and what happens is a lot of people will self-sabotage themselves because their values don't match up with their dreams. And I'll actually go into a kind of detail on that, on the values and rules, and this is just something that I learned over time. Number 3 is actually a purpose statement. Some people call it a mission statement, purpose statement, why you're alive, why you're doing what you're doing. Very good to get clear on why you're doing what you're doing, because a lot of times people have this like identity crisis trying to figure out who they are. Raise your hand, say aye. Aye. I've had that happen. Number 4 is creating a vision statement. One of the most powerful things you can do is have a vision for yourself. You know, all the quotes, you know, got to know who you are, where you're going, those type of things. And then number 5. Number 5 is the main focus of the year. Focus. It says focus. Focus of the year. Some people will say this is the goal of the year. It just depends on how you want to word it. But really, it's the main focus of the year to help you accomplish your vision. Number 6. Number 6 is the monthly plans. Because a lot of people say, well, I don't have time to do it, I haven't been able to fit it in. What it really boils down to is kind of eat that frog, and we'll go over that when we get to monthly plans. People are like, what the heck is Eat That Frog? Eat That Frog is actually a book by Brian Tracy. We'll go over that in detail when we hit monthly plans and time blocking. I was told by a very, very successful person by the name of David Bird that it's impossible to manage time. Because a lot of people say, well, I'm a bad time manager. He's like, well, you really can't manage time because time's going by regardless. So you can't grab time and say, hey, we want you to sit over here in the corner for a little while. We need a couple of hours and we'll get back to you. I mean, time's just going by. So you can't really manage time, but what you can do is you can time block. 7, daily activity. And number 8, and it's funny because people will miss all this and all they want to know is 8. And I'm like, if you don't have the first 7 in line, you're probably going to fail the last one. It's kind of like baking a cake. People are like, well, I just want to know how long I need to put it in the oven. I'm like, do you have the right ingredients? They're like, no, but I'm just going to try to bake the cake. And I'm like, I don't want to eat at your house. DMO, daily method of operation. A lot of people say, well, what do you do every day? How do you make, you know, your businesses work? How do you make real estate work? How do you make the mortgage business work? How do you get, you know, these MLM companies to work? Well, yes, it's the DMO, but these other things have to be in line first. And I just want to read you why this part is so important. It's actually Harvard. It's a real cool book called What They Don't Teach You in Harvard Business School by Mark McCormick. It says Harvard MBA program is extremely competitive in today's market. It's really hard to get into. They only admit 15% of all applicants. In the 60s it was 30%, then it went down to 25% in the 70s, and the 80s it basically fluctuated between 10 and 15 ever since. Students who make up the application process are typically outstanding, very successful. They are the traditional definition of great students. Typically the top 3 to 5 years of experience, you know, come out, that's worthless information for what we're talking about. Okay, the average Harvard MBA starts out at $115,000 with a $20,000 signing bonus. So if you're looking to make 6 figures, this is pretty good. Nonetheless, the graduates of some of the MBA programs end up being much more successful in the long run, and this whole book was about why they became more successful. And it says, why do 3% of Harvard MBAs make 10 times as much money as the other 97% combined? And it says the answer is actually pretty simple. Have you ever set clear written goals for yourself in your future and made plans to accomplish them? In 1979, interviews were asked of new graduates of the Harvard MBA program and found that 84% had no goals at all. 84% were just hoping and wishing and maybe something would happen. Good. 13% had goals that they were committed to and actually put down on paper, and then 3% actually had written goals, clear plans to accomplish them, and then what they did is they followed back up with these guys in 1989. And the interviews, basically the graduates, here's what happened. The 13% of the class who had goals were earning on average twice as much as the 84% who had no goals at all, and even more staggeringly, the 3% that not only had clear goals, written down and actually had a plan to accomplish them, made 10 times as much as the other 97% combined, I mean total. So I actually looked at a gentleman that I had read about before, and I really never realized all the things he had done, but this is actually cool. It's John Goddard. John Goddard. Goddard is G-O-D-D-A-R-D. He actually is kind of like a modern day Indiana Jones. John Goddard actually, at the age of, was it 15? I got it somewhere here. Yeah, at the age of 15, he actually sat down and wrote out a list of 127 goals that he wished to experience in his lifetime, and the most impressive is he's accomplished most of them. This is just some of the things he's been able to do. Explore. He's explored the Nile River, the Amazon River, the Congo River, the Colorado River, and then the Rico River. The only two that he's missing is somewhere in China and somewhere in Venezuela. Those are the two that he hasn't done yet. But he almost hit all the top 8. Study primitive Congo, New Guinea, Brazil, Borana, which I don't even know what that is, the Sudan, Australia, Kenya, the Philippines, Tanzania, Ethiopia, Nigeria, and Alaska. He accomplished all those. To climb, he wanted to climb Mount Everest, Mount McKinley, and and I can't even pronounce it. He missed those 3, but he did the one in Peru, Kilimanjaro, in Turkey, Kian, and I might have said that wrong, Mount Cook, Mount, I can't even say, Popocatépetl, I don't know, Mexico, the Matterhorn, which I do know that's very difficult, the Rainier, Mount Fuji, I don't know how to pronounce it, somewhere in Java, the Tetons, Grand Tetons, 2 places in California, and then he wanted to study the Navajos and Hopi Indians, so he was able to complete that. Learn to fly a plane, completed. Ride a horse, in the Rose Parade, completed. Photograph, he wanted to photograph the falls in Brazil, Victoria Falls, and that's actually Africa, I think. Southern Falls in New Zealand, Yosemite Falls, Niagara Falls, and retrace the travels of Marco Polo and Alexander the Great. Did all of them. Explore underwater, coral reefs, Great Barrier Reef, Red Sea, Fuji Islands, the Bahamas. Explore the swamps in the Everglades. I think I'll skip that one. Also, he wanted to visit North and South Pole. He didn't complete that, but he did visit the Great Wall of China, the Panama Canals, Easter Island, the Galapagos Islands, the Venetian City, the Taj Mahal, Eiffel Tower, the Blue Grotto. I don't even know what that is. I gotta look that one up. The Tower of London, Leaning Tower of Pisa, the Sacred Well of Chichen Itza in Mexico, climb the Ayers Rock in Australia. He wrote this when he was 15. I'm like, how did you even know about this? Like, I only knew about cartoons and cereal. Followed the Jordan River. He didn't complete that. He also, to swim in Lake Victoria, Lake Superior, Lake, I can't pronounce it, Lake somewhere in South America and Nicaragua. Accomplishments, become an Eagle Scout, he did it. Dive in a submarine, did it. Land and take off from an aircraft carrier, did it. Fly in a blimp, did it. And a balloon glider, he did both of those. Ride an elephant, a camel, an ostrich, and a bronco. I've been in a bronco, but it was a Ford. Skin dive to 40 feet below zero, hold breath for 2.5 minutes underwater, catch a 10-pound lobster and a 10-inch alabal, I don't know what he's talking about. Play the flute, play the violin, type 50 words a minute, make a pair, I mean, you guys get it? I mean, go on and look up this guy, because I've got like 3 more pages to go, and we don't have that kind of time. So the idea is you got to write some stuff down. So here's the challenge for day 3. The challenge for day 3 is, I want you to take out a piece of paper and try to do this. Because we're going to have a plan to do it afterwards, but I want to see how far you get. Take out a plan, write 1 through 100, because he has 1 through 127, I don't think you have to go quite that far. But try to write out 100 things that you want. Here's what will happen. You'll think you'll be able to do it, but I guarantee you'll probably sit there, you're going to stop somewhere between 25 and 35. You actually think you know what you want, but you don't. And most of the reason why you're not accomplishing great things is because you haven't written them down and you really don't have clear what you really want. It's actually very scary when you first do this. I had to do this myself. It was a clear reality test of the proof of writing down goals, because once I started writing stuff down, it was amazing how fast these things started coming off the list. So that's actually your assignment for day 3. Hope you guys are getting a lot out of this, and as always, this video, we actually give you permission to copy, share, and redistribute it. We hope this helps you, because we don't just want you to learn with the video series, we want you to be able to earn with the video series. Thanks.